Dominated a big time program, but that's good for her.
Yeah.
You're down with a reporter today.
Yeah.
Cross-country
It's because it's a Tuesday. He's chilling at home.
Chris Gannon, the Blue Jays opened the regular season over the weekend with the Platte River Rumble last Friday. Coach, just tell us all about that race.
Oh, it was a beautiful night out at the course. It was just kind of fun to see how that event's grown over the last few years with, a couple other Division I programs showing up this year. I think that event's just going to continue to grow as our course continues to be established in the region as, honestly, just a really, really solid course. Course is in great condition. Feedback from those other programs that were here was really, really good. As far as results for us, kind of to be expected. Our ladies, we expected Tay to be our one, and she was. Kind of expected Carly to be right up there. She was. Really, really good showing from Atlee and Raina as well on that ladies' side for those two freshmen to step in. And then just some of those ladies on that women's team that have kind of been stalwarts in that top group for a number of years now. So just kind of looking to work on closing that gap on the backside of the scoring with them. And then on the men's side, we knew that there was a pretty good chance we'd have a strong freshman class, and those guys definitely showed out. 3 of our top 4 finishers on the men's side were all freshmen, and that's exciting for what's ahead. There's just definitely going to be some growth there throughout the season. We go to Woody Greeno next week, and that's a much bigger field. And how are they going to handle a field that size versus what we had here? It's still really exciting to see those guys step in and be able to compete and contribute right away. And I think we had a couple of seniors who maybe had an off day, a couple of upperclassmen with an off day that will bounce back and just kind of fill in some of those gaps. And, I think I've said all along, I don't know we have a defined one on that men's side right now. It might be a lot of mix and match and who's having a good day. I think that's probably hold pretty true throughout the season.
Question?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 23 seconds was significant. That's what Taylor was able to shave off her competition time at this event last year. What do you think the factors were?
She's been healthy right now. That's been the biggest thing. She came in as a freshman, kind of had some injuries here and there. She and I were talking about it in the office yesterday, actually. And she's like, wow, I've just been able to get a lot of runs in. I'm like, you've been able to get a lot of runs in because we've been healthy. And that's the biggest thing. We knew she was talented, when she came in as a freshman. The fact that she's been able to put together a long, consistent training block and be healthy right now, her confidence is high, her workouts are good, and we continue to be healthy, and not just for her, but for anybody. You look at what makes great runners, and it's consistent training. And that's what we always talk about. And if we can be consistent with our training and stack workouts and stack weeks and stack, our fitness is going to stack, our confidence is going to stack, our performances are going to improve. And so for her right now to be in where she's at, I think that's good. We had a conversation about her press and workouts and things like that yesterday. And, she's maturing into that, whereas freshman Tay might have tried to just rip a little bit something extra yesterday. She's handling those things a little smarter than in the past. And that's the plan, stay healthy and continue to execute and run well.
I know you were really high on the freshmen on the men's side, but now that you actually have a competition under your belt or anything, and you saw the way they performed, I guess did it confirm what you thought, or did it surprise you in any way, considering how many you guys were in the top 3?
It was more confirmation than surprise, I feel like. When we looked at where those guys were coming in at high school, and even Andrew Sauer was a walk-on. He was at Creighton as a student last year and approached us about wanting a walk-on spot. And we watched, he ran a couple unattached races through the spring that we were at, and we saw the work that he was putting in. He's a Creighton prep grad here, local kid. He's technically a freshman right now too. But seeing what those guys have done in workouts, very much what we expected out of that group. The question I feel like was how they were going to handle that in the midst of competition versus the friendly banter of practice, and they handled it well. Iowa Western on that men's side they're ranked 1 or 2 in the entire country for JUCO. They're a pretty good shot at winning a national championship on that side, and so for them to be able to be in a race with that caliber of a racer, it speaks volumes that they handled it well and executed the way they did.
You and Coach Ferry were both pretty consistent in your belief that on the men's side, especially that the pack run would be a theme this year. You were really curious to see how they did in conjunction with each other. Now that you have an actual race to evaluate, how did that?
We need to pack up a little better. I think part of that had to do with the field that we had. You know, there's a couple of those Iowa Western guys that went out really quick. And so I just pulled everybody else along and pulled our pack along a little bit quicker than a couple of those guys were ready for. But I think it was a good, you know, our spread was still pretty solid. We'd like to have seen them stay together a little bit longer. But it's a good place to be for week one. And the other thing is those guys only ran 6K. I mean, that's the shortest, fastest race, not just fastest as in time, but also the fastest those guys will run all year until they get on the track. And so the fact that the pack split the way it did, understandable at 6K. Under 8K, that's a little more controlled pace. And all of a sudden, you know, 1 or 2 seconds through the K is different than, you know, 3 or 4 seconds through the K at 6K. So that will adjust itself a little bit. I think that, you know, those guys can really work together throughout the fall. What's ahead?
Two more. You mentioned closing the gap on the back end on both sides. What does that process look like now that you're in season?
Yeah, for a lot of it's just really them understanding and executing what we see in practice. To be honest with you, like there's a group of 3 or 4 girls who run together every day in practice, and then there's a second group of about 3 or 4 girls who run together every day in practice, and it's the same thing on the guys' side. Like the guys' side is almost one giant big pack, to be honest with you. And it's them just having the confidence and not overthinking and just saying, hey, you know, we do this day in and day out. I'm good enough to be here. Let's execute. You know, there's things that happen. Connor Gross stepped in a hole and kind of rolled his ankle a little bit, so that kind of disrupted his race debut. There's little things that happen on race day, nerves, stomach issues, those things, right? But I think that's part of the strength on the guys' side right now is that depth, and so one of those guys has one of those issues. We should have the depth to step in and fill that. Ladies' side, same thing. We just need a couple girls that have been running well in practice to believe in what they're doing, and I think that's hard sometimes when you're a freshman. It's your first college race, and you see logos from schools that you've seen on TV for what other sports or this, that, or the other, and just knowing you still belong and you can accomplish that. I think that'll come.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
So thank you.